Tune into a Tory broadcast for more than 2 seconds and you'll hear they want to
Get Brexit done.
That's right, get Brexit done. It's what Boris Johnson talks about in his sleep. It's the rallying cry of a party whose other ideas are pretty thin on the ground. But hey, it's a pretty compelling message because after years of wading through negotiations, renegotiations, parliamentary amendments, parliamentary unamendments, loads of people, Leave and Remain are basically bored stiff of the whole thing and just want someone to come along and put us all out of our misery.
Let's get Brexit done. Get Brexit done. Oven ready, slam it in the microwave, it's there.
You're bored and frustrated, I'm bored and frustrated. Brenda from Bristol is about ready to walk into the ocean and never look back.
There's too much politics going on at the moment.
Endlessly obsessing over the details of trade relations wasn't exactly the triumphalist moment of independence that some people were promising
Let
us.
June the 23rd go down in our history as our Independence Day.
It's undeniable as well that years of uncertainty have had a chilling impact on investment, which was already incredibly low. So the Conservative Party, who aren't exactly offering what you'd call hope, they're staking their electoral hopes on offering to end the deadlock and wrench the deal through what they say is an uncooperative parliament. But what's actually going on here? And can they actually get Brexit done like they say they're going to? Well, first of all, it's important to remember that Boris Johnson already had parliamentary assent for a first reading of the bill, aka the bill had support in Parliament. MPs weren't just flat out blocking it, and the claim that they were is just straight up not true.
Parliament refused to knock it through.
The dithering and delaying Johnson keeps talking about was really just MPs trying to put in a sensible time frame for scrutiny of the bill, to make sure we didn't trigger a no-deal scenario, and so we'd actually know what was in it. It's a pretty basic part of our parliamentary democracy, and the minimum you'd ask from a bill which promises to overhaul the political and economic fabric of our society. When we actually had a chance to go through the text of the deal, we all realised that it didn't protect jobs, didn't protect the environment, and left the door open to a disastrous US trade deal that left the NHS on the table.
Everything's on the table. So NHS or anything else?
Some MPs were lining up to try and push through amendments to the deal to try and patch up some of its worst effects. But Boris doesn't like that kind of scrutiny. And his mates in the European Research Group don't much care for those amendments. So they called an election and blamed everyone else. They want to get a majority so they can force through Johnson's Brexit deal without scrutiny, debate, or amendment on an unprecedentedly fast timetable. This isn't about Brexit per se, but about one very specific version of it pushed by a bunch of aristocrats and investment bankers. But let's say we're living in the darkest timeline, the Conservatives win a majority and pass the deal as is. Brexit still won't be done. The deal is only an outline. It's a blueprint setting out the bounds of future trading relations and domestic laws. The laws still need to be passed and the actual trade deals themselves still need to be negotiated. And the average free trade deal takes 7 years to complete. Just ask former Trade Secretary Liam Fox, because in 3 years he only managed to renegotiate 1.5% of the trading relationships we'd lose by exiting the EU. And the Conservative Party have ruled out extending the 1-year transition period where previous trade agreements would still apply. That speedy timetable gives them a few choices. Either they admit it's a total fantasy and they'll keep extending the Brexit process anyway, or most likely, they don't fancy either of those options, so they try and rush through renegotiations, securing a quick and dirty trade deal with the States, which would open up the NHS to US-style price gouging for drugs and gut our consumer protections so manufacturers can happily leave maggots in our orange juice and rat hairs in our spices.
Very nice.
And in any case, estimates have shown that the Conservatives' proposed hard Brexit will have massive ramifications for decades to come. From the initial £70 billion shock to our economy to the long effects of undermining workplace bargaining and human rights protections. Passing a withdrawal bill is not the end of Brexit, it is just the beginning. And anyone who says otherwise is lying to you.
Oven ready, slam it in the microwave, it's there.
So why do they keep banging on about it? Who actually benefits from saying that they got Brexit done? Suspect number one is obviously Boris Johnson, who has staked his career and reputation by posing as the hard man of hard Brexit. So whatever the truth of the matter, he'll want to claim victory. Then, of course, there's the Conservative Party more generally, who need some kind of unifying purpose to jazz up an otherwise dismal manifesto. And let's not forget the people who stand to gain from legislation and deals rushed through without consultation or scrutiny. The companies who stand to gain from those quick and dirty trade deals, from being able to pay people less and fire them more easily, from being able to ignore environmental and financial legislation. Those are the people who benefit from saying that they're going to get Brexit done, not you and not me. The Tories' promise to get Brexit done is completely hollow and completely bogus. At best, it's a fantasy. At worst, it's just a glossy slogan by people trying to cynically cash in on public disillusionment with the Brexit process. Get Brexit done means please let me salvage my career, I've gambled on this one flagship bill. It means please ignore the fact that we have no other real plans to fix the economy we've ruined. It means please let us totally rewrite the laws of this country and flog off the NHS without asking any questions, thank you very much. If we are going to exit the European Union, we should do it properly. And hey, that might take a bit more time. But we shouldn't let politicians and big business hijack the process to sell off the last of our public wealth, screw over people who are already struggling, and turn the UK into a glorified tax haven. This is our future, and we deserve better than that.